Now, bro, if I'm Tony Khan and I'm watching this footage and I'm debating whether or not to play this footage, I know these two things. I know, number one, it proves CM Punk to be truthful as to what happened. So if he's truthful about this, then he's probably truthful about the rest of the interview. And number two, russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros.
Don't mention my name in your Hall of Fame speech, you son of a bitch.
I want to pick your guys' brains on something real quick because we didn't get a chance to talk about this, and that's the CM Punk footage on the AEW show. Guys, there are two things that jumped out of this to me. And again, if I'm Tony Khan watching this footage and going through this footage, here are the two things that really stood out to me. Number one, the footage proved 100% to the T that CM Punk told the absolute truth. The way he laid out the scenario of what happened was 100% truthful. Number two, this was the incident where Tony Khan was afraid for his life. Now, bro, if I'm Tony Khan and I'm watching this footage and I'm debating whether or not to play this footage, I know these two things. I know, number one, it proves CM Punk to be truthful as to what happened. So if he's truthful about this, then he's probably truthful about the rest of the interview. And number two, it makes me look like the biggest pussy on the planet if I claimed that my life was in jeopardy. So with all that being said, Stevie, he decides to play the footage anyway. And I'm like, bro, what could the reasoning have been? Could the reasoning have been to pop a number for just one night, regardless of the damage it might do for weeks and weeks and weeks to come? Because other than popping a number that one night, I mean, Stevie, was there any benefit to this that I missed?
My one question as I watched this, and I watched it a few times to see if I would still ask the same question, and I did more vehemently each time. Why? Like, why would you air this? What lens is anybody looking through? Not just Tony, but anybody in that circle, the EVPs, everybody else who looks at that. How can you look at it even somewhat objectively and say, yes, this is going to vindicate Jack Perry. This is going to vindicate the EVP. This is going to make Tony Khan look like an honest person, and CM Punk is going to be the bitter liar. I don't understand. And maybe somebody did, or maybe we're at that stage right now where the emperor really, truly has no clothes. That everybody's just collecting a check. There's a lot to be said about this airing without any kind of objection or notable public objection by anybody in that company. Jericho, whoever's in the, in the back, the agents, anybody. How can you justify that airing or justify not saying anything to try to prevent a bad look for AEW, except this was the clear case to me, the proof of anything else, that everybody there is just collecting a check from a money mark.
Yeah.
Because how could you, if you had pride in AEW, how could you legitimately not even object to that being there? Because I'm like, boss, that's going to make us look bad.
Yeah.
Nobody said that.
Shouldn't that be the entire thing? If we're all a bunch of insiders that watch this show and everyone's been talking about that buzz from the internet, that should have been the thread, and that it should have ended the show, right? Like, people, Tony, don't put it out there, dude, and like trying to convince him or talk him down from doing it. Is he going to air it? Is he going to air it to actually pop a number and hold him? Instead, he showed it at the 9:00 hour, and then ratings tanked. And then he really missed one of the biggest things he could have done, because he has Samoa Joe and Swerve going at it. but he mixed in Dustin as a get over. And in that week, you had the very small opportunity to have Swerve screw over Joe and have Dustin go over for the world title in the same week that his brother went over, so we can get the one picture where the story is finished. And then in the next week, when you have it on your pay-per-view, Swerve beats Dustin and Swerve has the title, and you're right back into the fucking feud. But we can't even do the most simple math booking with here comes the awesome bus. Oh, we'll see you later. Maybe we'll catch it some other time. Fuck that. They don't even see what they have in front of them because they're so in the bubble. Or how to get max value out of it by threading it throughout the whole show. I have like a little different take on it because I guess I'm still somewhat not bitter, but it's like I'm a bitter parasite. But just how I'm raised differently from the old man. When I see that Punk stuff, not saying that I don't know Jungle Jack Perry and I can assume whatever Hollywood style or second generation theater kid. And maybe he is a smart mouth son of a bitch, but I didn't see him do anything aggressive except put his hands up and talk back to him. And the fact that Punk goes to Gorilla as a multi-decade, locker room leader, top guy, and thinks that that's the place to do this shit and get his shit in shows exactly the true colors to me of who this guy is, because a real top guy would make you feel comfortable while he's cutting your throat behind your back because you're a rookie and you don't even know that you're being tested and what's really going on. So him to go start shit in Gorilla is all about I, me, my, look at me, and I'm the big dog and I'm the big leaguer. I felt bad for Chris Hero. Chris Hero looked visibly upset that shit was going down in Gorilla and he had to regulate because Punk's probably the one that helped get him the job there from being ROH boys. So the fact that I've seen this kind of behavior of Punk being a spot picker on who he's going to bully and going like this, and then I don't care what he said, like Punk couldn't hold his shit together to not pie face him, half headbutt him. And then the internet sap suckers about he front face locked him and he reversed out. In their mind, it was some crazy fucking Matrix fight, right? Like when it's not, it's just a bitch ass little scuffle backstage that was super unprofessional at the biggest show in the spot where in Gorilla where it shouldn't be going down if it was ever going to go down at all. So what Punk might have said in an Ariel Helwani video that got AEW to sell, everybody's a culpable mark in this as far as I'm concerned. I would have done satire and led up to it and had it, and then I would have cut to it and I would have had the Young Bucks playing CM Punk and Jungle Boy in a reenactment of that and not really shown it. I would have baited everybody in and switched it and F you the whole industry.
Well, here's a couple of points on that. You have a great point about Punk. He did, I think, in a way, it's a mixture between picking the spot, but I also think this was coming to a head over weeks and months and well over a year from the thing. Now, maybe it all started at the brawl out thing with the press conference and all that stuff and never really got to where Tony stepped in and told everybody, do business or you're all gone. That would have kind of squashed it a little bit.
Right.
He gave Punk his own show to keep him away and split the thing. He did everything wrong to try to avoid the one confrontation as a boss with the talent and shutting it all down. Now, according to Punk, he didn't get picked up for the show. So maybe it's building. Then he gets treated like not even part of the show, like just somebody setting up chairs or whatever. Find your own way to the stadium, gets there, and maybe things were said, snippy things. How was your ride in? Did you take the train? Did you?
Yeah.
I just feel like there's death by 1,000 paper cuts with that. Yeah. And also at the same time, I think Punk saw the writing on the wall since before that press conference where he got sent home the first time and said, well, it's the money mark. I'm going to get myself out and I'll go back to WWE when the money's right. He timed it out. That Wembley show was the high point. He's going out wrestling his boy Joe on the way out.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. The scuffle wasn't much of anything, but as it builds up, he sees this is a chance that finally I've had enough. I'm pushed over the line. There's physicality. Tony's a pussy, so he's going to fear for his life. I'm going to say, you're a clown. I quit, and I still get my money, and I go to WWE, make even more money after that.
Yeah.
He's a worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other part of that too is Tony then going, "This is the safest place to work, environment ever, or whatever." But I fear for my life. Like, well, what is it with these hyperbole, bipolar drops? You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of fearing for lives,
What's up, Brand? This is Jeff Lane inviting you to come hang out with me over on Twitch. I'm live several nights a week playing games, classic and new, currently going through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the new Contra game, and more. So check me out, Jeff Lane 22 on Twitch.
pick up Mike Durbin's Conan action figure, bro. Look how beautiful this thing is. I freaking love the packaging, man. Look at this. MikeDurbin.com, guys. Help Mike out, man. This is a beautiful action figure, bro. Beautiful. MikeDurbin.com.